Hello, everyone. Today we're going to take you into a world of stories that really get the heart pounding. These are true accounts sent in from people all over, and each one is, well, genuinely unsettling. You might find it hard to sleep tonight. These stories come from a whole range of sources, but they're all rooted in direct personal experiences, people facing the darkness, the unexpected. It's a reminder, really, that sometimes horror isn't just on screen. It can be much closer than we think. So get ready, because we're going to share some stories that show just how thin that line between everyday life and real terror can be.
And what's fascinating here is that these experiences, they aren't confined to horror movies or, urban legends. This is real stuff happening to ordinary people like us. It really reflects human vulnerability when faced with things that are just unexplainable or unexpectedly cruel.
Okay, let's get straight into the first one. It's about an invasion, the kind you never expect, completely shattering that feeling of safety. This happened about a year or so ago to a 19-year-old woman named Lindsay. She was home from college for a break, parents were away, and her brother, Kyle, was having a party downstairs. Now, Lindsay's a light sleeper, so she locked her bedroom door tightly before trying to get some sleep, hoping for some peace and quiet.
The bedroom door lock already a sign she valued that private, secure space.
Exactly. But peace wasn't what she got. Middle of the night, she starts hearing these weird thumping sounds coming from her bedroom closet. It was one of those double-door closets, the kind that opens outwards. She said she tried to rationalize it, maybe just house noises or the cat. But then the thumping changed. It became this disgusting, wet, slapping sound. It made her stomach just churn. She's staring into the dark toward the closet doors, absolutely terrified.
That shift in sound, from something maybe explainable to something visceral and repulsive, that's often the turning point in these accounts.
And this is where it gets truly chilling. Through the tiny gap between the two closet doors, she saw it. A pair of eyes, staring back at her from the darkness, looking right at her. Her stomach just twisted. She wanted to scream, but nothing came out. She was just paralyzed, lying there completely still, rigid, while the slapping noise continued. And there was heavy breathing, too, from whoever or whatever was inside her closet. Then she heard this low, sickening moan. And that was it. She couldn't take it anymore.
That feeling of paralysis, even when you desperately want to react, is a terrifyingly common response to extreme fear.
Fueled by pure panic and adrenaline, Lindsay just launched herself off the bed, ran to the closet, yanked the doors open, and what she saw, there was a man crouched down, hiding among her stuffed animals, staring back at her. One hand was holding some of her underwear, the other hand, well, the details are graphic. But what she remembers most vividly is the look in his eyes, that leering, lustful look, wide eyes and this awful, predatory smile. A smile she swears she'll never, ever forget.
The violation isn't just the presence, it's the intent you see in their eyes. That specific detail, the smile, stays with victims.
She froze for just a second, but then her fight response kicked in. She kicked him hard, right in the groin. Again and again. They were both screaming now, pain and shock. Finally, her brother Kyle heard the commotion, burst into the room, punched the guy in the face, and managed to chase him out of the house. Lindsay and Kyle, they never spoke about it again after that night, and she never told her parents.
This really underscores that profound violation of personal space. The bedroom, supposedly your sanctuary, your safest place. When that's invaded, it creates this deep sense of fear and psychological trauma. And as we heard, it lingers. Lindsay still has to check her closet every single night.
Yeah, it just shows how quickly our sense of security can be utterly destroyed. That lingering anxiety is powerful. Okay, now we're going to shift gears a bit, moving from a direct physical threat to a story that makes you question, well, what we perceive as normal. This is about a mother's intuition and how it saved her child from a hidden danger.
Sometimes the threat isn't overt, it's subtle.
Exactly. This comes from someone recounting when they were young, maybe 7 or 8 years old. Their aunt from Ohio was visiting, staying at their house, and she brought her new boyfriend along. One afternoon, the child, still in their school uniform skirt, runs over to the aunt and her boyfriend, sits down on his lap. Seems innocent enough on the surface, right?
A perfectly normal family scene, seemingly.
But when the child's mother came out onto the patio, she saw something in the boyfriend's expression. She immediately called the child over, her voice firm. Years later, the mother explained what she felt in that moment. She described it as this intense gut feeling. She said his smile wasn't one of simple happiness. It was more like pleasure from something immoral, were her words. As her young daughter sat there on his lap in her school skirt, the mother felt instantly deeply uneasy, even though at that moment the man hadn't actually done anything overtly wrong.
That visceral reaction, even without concrete evidence, it's fascinating.
That night, the mother had a huge argument with the father. She insisted she didn't trust the boyfriend, wanted him out of the house. The father initially dismissed it, thought she was overreacting, but she wouldn't back down. She was adamant. So the next day, the aunt and her boyfriend were asked to leave. And here's where the story takes a truly chilling turn.
You just knew there was more to it.
Years later, the aunt called the mother. She had some shocking news. She'd seen a news headline about her ex-boyfriend, that same man. He'd just been arrested and sent to prison for child molestation. The mother's intuition, that gut feeling she couldn't explain or rationalize at the time, it had been absolutely right.
This really brings up a crucial question, doesn't it? How powerful is our intuition, that sense we often ignore or dismiss, in protecting us from dangers we can't see or articulate? It's a powerful testament to trusting those internal alarm bells, even without visible proof.
And thank goodness that mother did trust her gut. It makes you think about all those times we get a bad feeling about something or someone. All right, let's venture now into the complicated and often dangerous world of online relationships. This next story proves that sometimes the most terrifying threats aren't physical at all.
The anonymity of the internet can be a breeding ground for deception.
Definitely. This comes from a teenager, she's 15 at the time, described herself as being in a vulnerable place, really looking for connection and affection, and she sought it online. She started messaging a guy named John on a social media platform. Things moved incredibly fast. They were sharing personal pictures, deep secrets, and within just 3 days of talking, John was telling her he loved her, asking her to be his girlfriend.
That rapid escalation is a significant red flag in itself. Intensity replacing genuine connection.
Almost immediately, John's behavior became obsessive. He started talking about having kids together, flying out to her state to meet her and take her virginity. He just became incredibly emotionally volatile overall. When she tried to be honest with him about a past relationship, he flew into a rage, called her horrible names, accused her of sleeping around for drugs. The warning signs were just blaring.
Possessiveness, jealousy, volatility, classic signs of controlling behavior.
She decided she had to end it. But she was scared he might hurt himself, that she just broke up with him cleanly. So she lied, told him she'd cheated on him. She hoped his anger would make him hate her and move on. But she says that was a huge mistake. John absolutely exploded, called her the worst things imaginable, accused her of betrayal. Then she blocked him. Thought that was the end of it.
Unfortunately, with obsessive individuals, blocking is often just the beginning.
Not even close. She was asleep and woke up at 2 a.m. to frantic calls from her best friend. John was harassing the friend, trying to get her personal information. Over the next week, John created multiple new accounts, messaging her constantly, swerving between apologies and threats, even saying he would, quote, punch and beat her if he ever saw her. She blocked every new account, just hoping he'd eventually give up.
That relentless pursuit, the cycle of threats and apologies, it's psychological warfare.
Then came the part that truly terrified her. A random girl messaged her. The conversation went something like, "Hey, I know you don't know me, just wondering if you dated John." The teenager confirmed she had, and the stranger replied, "Just thought you should know he's sending your nudes to people." Not just selfies, but private pictures she'd sent him in confidence. Her heart just stopped.
And there it is, the ultimate breach of trust online. Anonymity enables some people to weaponize intimacy, turning connection into a tool for harassment, manipulation, and profound violation of privacy.
It's such a stark reminder. She immediately deleted her Instagram, stayed off it for a year, never posted her full name again. Her warning to you, to everyone, is crystal clear. Never send personal info or inappropriate pictures to strangers online. People can seem friendly, warm, but you only know what they choose to show you.
A vital lesson, sadly learned the hard way.
Now let's step away from human threats for a moment and delve into something entirely different. Our next story takes us to a remote part of Mexico where something possibly otherworldly lurked in the darkness.
Shifting from the dangers within humanity to the potential horrors outside of it.
Exactly. This happened a few years back. The storyteller was visiting their girlfriend's house, located on the outskirts of a town in Mexico. Houses are far apart there, surrounded by dense woods. It was a cold December night. The girlfriend's mother was away, so they had the place to themselves. The storyteller went out to use the bathroom, which was kind of semi-detached, in the middle of an open yard. Only a small bulb lit the area, and this yard was separated from the thick forest only by a simple barbed wire fence.
That minimal barrier between civilization and the wild sets an immediate sense of vulnerability.
As they stepped into the yard, this cold wind hit them, gave them goosebumps. They hurried, feeling a bit spooked by the darkness and the closeness of the woods. On the way back, they heard a twig snap off to their left, and this creepy feeling of being washed over them. They stood still, listening. And that's when they noticed the crickets, which had been chirping loudly just moments before, had gone completely silent. An unnatural, deafening silence that made their heart pound.
That sudden silence of nature is a classic trope in horror, often signaling an unnatural presence.
Back inside, they sat on the couch, watching TV. But after about 20 minutes, strange noises started up again from the yard. Small twigs breaking, the faint rustle of grass. They muted the TV, straining to hear, and then they saw it. A pale, tall, grayish humanoid figure emerging from behind a large tree trunk, staring back at them.
Just the description. Pale, tall, grayish.
Yeah.
Immediately unsettling.
The figure was incredibly thin, emaciated almost, with slumped shoulders and a long neck, maybe 6 or 7 feet tall. They couldn't make out facial details because of the dark, but they knew it was looking right at them. It seemed to have some kind of smile. And then, the creepiest part. It started making this slow clicking sound, resonant like a frog's click, and it would snap its head to the side, then back, quickly, like it was observing them, studying them.
The clicking sound, the unnatural movement, those details push it beyond just someone there into something deeply unnerving.
Fear turned into absolute terror as the creature started to slowly back away, still staring, before vanishing into the darkness. Minutes later, it reappeared. This time, right outside the window, just feet away. Now they could see it clearly. It had no mouth where a human mouth should be. Instead, its mouth was on its neck. And it opened horizontally, not vertically, revealing hundreds of small, sharp teeth glinting in the reflection from the window. Its eyes were oval, black as night.
If we connect this to the broader picture, encounters with seemingly non-terrestrial or non-human entities often evoke a deeper, more profound fear than human threats. It's because such encounters fundamentally challenge our understanding of reality and the natural order of the world, creating a dread that goes right to the core.
The storyteller's girlfriend woke up then. They both stared in horror as the creature took a step forward, lowered its head as if scanning them, hearts pounding. Then it began to walk slowly towards the hallway door, still making that clicking sound. Suddenly, they heard scratching sounds on the metal door leading to the hallway. Without thinking, they grabbed each other's hands, ran to the bedroom, locked themselves inside. The scratching continued for what felt like an eternity, maybe 3 minutes, then silence. They spent the next hour listening to footsteps moving around the house before, finally, everything went quiet.
That feeling of being hunted inside your own home by something unknown, utterly terrifying.
They were both deeply affected. Nightmares for days, sometimes waking up screaming. They immediately had a taller 2-meter fence built to block access from the woods. To this day, the storyteller's girlfriend says the yard still gives her chills at night.
The psychological imprint of such an encounter can last a lifetime.
And finally, let's explore one more form of horror. Not from external forces, but from within a human space designed, theoretically, for care.
The fear that arises from human unpredictability in vulnerable settings.
Right. This last story takes us to a psychiatric hospital back in 2014. The experience of a 19-year-old woman. She was on an adult ward, a place she described as poorly managed, filled with patients who were severely ill and unpredictable. She felt the nurses were more focused on dispensing medication than providing actual care.
That sense of institutional neglect can amplify feelings of vulnerability and fear.
Her first night, she was assigned a roommate, a woman in her late 40s or early 50s who was almost completely non-responsive, just stared at the floor, didn't react. The unpredictability of the other patients was also deeply unsettling. She witnessed screaming, banging, erratic behavior. It was the first time she'd felt genuinely afraid. Being surrounded by adults whose minds had deteriorated over years, it made it very hard to relax.
The constant tension, the inability to predict others' actions, it creates a unique kind of stress.
That night, she was drifting in that state between sleep and waking when she felt pressure on her forehead, sweat dripping onto her face. She opened her eyes. Her roommate was standing over the bed, staring directly at her. One hand was on her forehead, the other clutched tightly to her own chest. The roommate was speaking what sounded like a strange chant or unknown language. Her eyes were completely blank, devoid of any emotion.
Oh, wow. That's incredibly disturbing.
The chanting got louder, faster, and the storyteller found herself paralyzed again. Couldn't move, couldn't make a sound. Even as the roommate started wiping the sweat from her forehead, still chanting. Then the roommate put both hands on her forehead, started screaming and shaking her. Luckily, a nurse rushed in at that moment and pulled the roommate away.
This really raises a key point. In situations where we are at our most vulnerable, the fear generated by the unpredictability and abnormality of another human being, it can create a distinct and unforgettable kind of terror. It's deeply personal, deeply unsettling. Yeah.
The nurse, seeming more irritated than concerned, took the roommate away, told the storyteller to go back to sleep. She never saw that roommate again, assumed she was moved to a higher security ward. But the incident left a lasting mark. To this day, she still wakes up sometimes with lingering anxiety, has to calm herself back down to sleep. It serves as a constant reminder for her to take care of her own mental health, a stark warning of something she never wants to experience again.
A chilling reminder of vulnerability and the unpredictable nature of the human mind.
The stories we've shared with you today, they're just a glimpse into the unsettling experiences that many people face.
And if we look at these stories together, they really make us realize that the world we live in holds so many hidden mysteries and unseen dangers. Whether they come from nature, from other people, or even from things we just can't explain.
And maybe the scariest thing isn't always what's right in front of you, but the thought that, well, these things could happen to any of us at any time. Thank you for joining us as we explore these dark corners today. We really appreciate you being here with us. If you enjoy chilling stories, true crime, and things that go bump in the night, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Horror Docx. That way you won't miss out on the new stories we'll be bringing you, keeping you on the edge of your seat. We'll catch you next time for something perhaps even more terrifying.